And away we go for Thursday. What's going on? Beautiful day. How's everyone doing? We had our option session this morning. Didn't go quite the way I planned. I'll get into that in a second. And I'm for those that are here from the option session talking about zero DTEs. I will update you on some things for this afternoon, and we'll jump over to Discord because you know me. We'll get it. Really quick. Big shout out to the chat. Welcome. And our first person that was in today, who was Parul P. Parul P. You win the gold membership. You put in gold, GOLD. Every Thursday is giveaway Thursday, so we give away gold membership. You'll be able to watch that recording from today. I'm uploading that, so everyone else, hang on in. Give you a couple of chances to win, learn, earn. Me, I'm a little frustrated right now. Missed this morning's move. I really did. I was looking for a whole bunch of option contracts and, looking for sell opportunity and did not get it. There's a lot going on, but it's clearly up. And maybe that's probably the place to start. Before we do, everyone that's new, become a basic member over here. Join and then get to the basic membership page and get with HPC software. Of course, get it with the TradingView program right there. Send your username to hpc sr-analyst.com. You have any questions, reach out to me on the Discord. So let's get into it. Just finally we get some action movement today, but nothing. Not how I want to trade. Really quick, right now we're dealing with and finally got a midday dot. So we're going to get some bearish resistance up here on the SPY. The bigger chart are the Qs on the hourly time frame. This is kind of the big deal that we're looking at the moment. Hold on. There you go. Yeah, we're looking at a big type 2 bat pattern. This was why I was thinking call options, but zero DTEs are, you have to get that direction right. I was admittedly early. I think I still am early on trying to take advantage of what's going on there, but it's a type 2 bat. And we do have the software kicking out the signal where, hey, I want to start watching right here. I don't have any confirmation. We have a dot preceding it, but preferably what you're looking for is that marking and then get a dot, much like what we had back here, where you got the dot HSI signal and then away you go. So that's what I'm looking for over here, but quite strong. Okay, this morning into the zone. Maybe this is our first hourly bearish candle. Let's watch that. That's kind of a continuation of what we've been talking about from this morning. Beautiful type 2. And I don't care if it's a 0 DTE or it's a weekly option or monthly option. I think the 60-minute time frame, 4-hour time frame, just to get a general perspective, is always the way to go. Up here, what the Q's 377, 378. Come back to this. What's going on, chat? What's going on with everyone today? Big shout out. Welcome. Happy Thursday. What are we doing with the market? Because on the Qs, your hourly, your 4-hour time frame, fairly impressive the last few weeks, but you're up against some levels, some big resistance. Static resistance, obviously. Target 2 resistance. 379 is up here. You're getting close to maybe triggering some overbought readings since this recent run, since the 7th. And daily time frame looks like this. This is the other big consideration. And I'm starting to think that if we don't stop here, or even more so, the fact that we're checking back on today on this daily chart, it's a big thing. There's the HSI, Wednesday the 6th. And now you're checking back 377.63. Okay, today's high 377.88. So you've checked back that daily signal. Why is that so important? It's been chop. You've been in a lot of chop since the peak back in July, but even this stuff, minus 1 or 2 days, you've had a lot of choppy kind of intermediate days, sessions, and all summer long you have been between 365 and 383. That's it. Are we going to go back and retest 383 and then get a dot? A couple more days. I think this is still, if it's not going to trigger here, you're not going to get a response here immediately, then maybe it wants to at least tag it a little higher. Maybe, and I even think for today, maybe you go to the hop at 378.82. Keep an eye on that. I do think that it can be frustrating. This is again from this morning. You want to line up. I mean, that's a two of two by definition, but you don't have, it's not exactly in the right place where your confirmation is. I mean, HSI is holding above the 50 line, even amplified hasn't rolled out. So that was probably the mistake this morning. And I mean, the only mistake was just not capturing the call move. I'm looking to buy puts and got the confirmation way lower than the zone. For today, there you go. We have a 5-minute dot. There's our 5-minute bearish dot. So maybe hitting a little overhead resistance for today anyway. Just to kind of follow up with the people that were in there this morning. We were, what was it? It was the SPY 448s. No, it was the SPY tomorrow. So we were looking at the 448s. And I said, stretch that into tomorrow. We never got any kind of trigger on that. Here's what that currently looks like. So same deal, hitting the zone. Hold on, get back here. And 0 DTE usually means same day. We could stretch that, especially, I mentioned this in the session, if you're looking at something from today into Friday of any day of the week, that's actually not a bad idea to try to play those options where you get a turnaround move or some kind of substantial volatility into the Friday expiration. Here's the first pattern on the 448 put from this morning, and we were looking at this and we said, I was saying on today's contract and even tomorrow's contract that the confirmation was lower, and you saw some of that really down toward the hop. This is a bit ugly, but I'm still watching. I want to see clear continuation 3-bar breakout with follow through where maybe it makes the low at $1, but it spends enough time where you get a breakout 1, 2, 3-bar follow through where maybe it bottoms at $1, you're buying at $1.15 or 20 because that starts the move. Haven't seen that on any of those contracts. 0 DTEs are tricky. No doubt. I have no qualms about saying that. It requires kind of that heightened level of lining up everything. So, again, just be on your toes with that for today. Check out like futures. S&P futures on the 5-minute is just generating the last two patterns. Yesterday's bat pattern at 45.05, and now we're just sitting at a big bearish ABCD at 45.55. Looking for that to go into a type 1 itself. There's quite a few things there that suggest you're hitting some overbought limit. I really just need the confirmation. And on hourly, bat pattern never came back. That was the other thought. And this happens, but hey, I really thought we would get something like this into today and then a perfect type 2 and go. Just trying to be real, trying to keep it real. Appreciate that, Daniel. What's going on, Justin, David V, Mr. Lodak, Evan? Yeah, you guys, for the members, I probably will do something tomorrow. Let me see what my schedule is. But I probably, it's really because I I think this is where it's happening. I have kind of made that push more and more to options, especially after, crypto dug its grave last year. That the zero DTE or the 1 day, next day options, that's where you're getting your biggest bang for the buck. Uh, that, you can get crypto like returns. But it's not an easy game. You have to be knowing what you're doing, and you have to be on your levels. The queues right now are in an interesting spot where you're sitting at major resistance. What probably happens going into today is you just get a nominal. We go into a consolidation, and maybe we get a long opportunity to go make a run to the hop, something like this. There's T2. That's a critical bar. That's where I left everybody. I said we finished up right at 12 noon. I said, look, yes, this is the T2. This is the T2 bar right there. You had follow through. This is the really where I'm looking for to see what happens. Do we follow through here and then register something higher, more like 378, 82? And I still think, hey, there are zero DTE options possibilities today if that happens. I mean, if you're going to go higher than that on the Qs, where was that? The 370. Sorry, the 379s. Hold on. Here you go. 370, 379. I think any possible put would have to be for tomorrow because it might take a few hourly bars to really get it. 370, it's trading 377. 378s. What do those look like on the 5-minute? Where are we? Come on. Hold on. I thought I had something down there. Nah, come back. Anyway, that's at least a really good zone to be focused on for the turnaround. We could, like I said, grind higher. This is a really strong bar right up the open, but maybe we as high as 378 if that continues into the end of the day. Really quick, your 30-second chart just been printing a lot of dots left and right. So let's go through this consolidation phase. It's going to give us an indication one way or another, but the hourly levels are probably what you want to focus on. Quickly, I'm going to blow through really quick a lot of stuff today that needs to be looked at. Microsoft mentioned this last week, and what is going on here? And what's going on with all of these is it seems they want to push higher and generate confirmation signals on the retest of these highs. No full type 1. I mean, I really thought we could get to a type 1 down here at 298 or 308 on the weekly basis. Let me go here. There you go. Weekly shark. It was a shark or it was a crab What's going on though is we are projecting HSI signals where we're not going to do a heck of a lot, but we're going to come back and retest the zones. That's probably the takeaway on this Microsoft thing. Continues higher, so that's pretty clear now. Target 358 or Meta. Ever since it printed this HSI 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, we're continuing higher. So they want to make a push to go higher in the zone. And then Meta is the other thing with some daily HSIs. I really can't be dismissive of what's going on there. Amazon, same deal. Printing a bearish pattern with bullish counter trend HSI signals. And I think Amazon printing the target one, but I need confirmation up here, and that's probably higher. I mean, it made a new high for the year yesterday. I think we could go as high as the hop level at 155.75. Or print an HSI between there, but you're still 11 points away from hitting that upper level, and that's minimum stuff because look where you are on the weekly. You have a same pattern. Okay, a couple of yellow dots, yet you're not rolling over. I mean, it's wanting to push a bit higher in this zone. The other one that is very close, well, two of them. Apple seems like it wants to threaten and hit its daily, really quick, come back here, daily level of, we have a deep crab at 167.62 for target one, Apple. Yet we are printing some dots and a shark, a bullish shark. That's a type 2 now just above that zone. I think this is probably the most important harmonic pattern situation we have. You have back-to-back patterns. For all of these, I've said we're looking for a target 1, type 1 retracement to then set up the type 2 retest. We have to watch Apple because Apple is sitting there essentially 170, 171. If it could generate an oversold reading and then go, the corresponding reaction could be quite strong. It's so close. Software is kicking out your ideal type 1, type 2. There's the type 1 designation structurally. Then you get a dot and a dot. Regardless, you get some confirmation for a push for the target 1 and then back down. So T2 generated, give me a dot. Something there. So close. If it got to 167, I would really want to pay attention for that to be the end of this whole consolidation that started earlier this summer. The other one that warrants a lot of attention because it looks like it wants to try to hit its target is Netflix. Now Netflix is 386. This has been a bit more ideal. I know we covered this. I know, I probably should have been, I'm not going to get into it, but really clear confirmation signal. The breakdown, literally yesterday's massive candle, then just printed the first bearish dot, yellow dot, where we could get down to the 386 now, and that would be the type 1, target 1. That's it. That is probably like Microsoft, or not like Microsoft, excuse me, like Apple itself, Those would be the two clearest examples of a type 1 reaction being realized, and then that would be a sizable retracement within this new uptrend, if that's what it is. I mean, and this has been the whole thing for all of them. We're looking for that eventual type 1 completion to set off into that next wave. A couple more. I'm not in the best mode today. Definitely not. Here's one that you guys know I've been in front of. Still like it. Intel. Now trying to flash some bearish patterns. Intel is a longer term off the weekly. Now printing a bearish bat pattern, what do? Our target is 41. Our target on the weekly is 41.36. And now on the daily, we have a bat pattern. Just be patient. We have confirmation trying to get printed today in terms of HSI. That's the red dot. But maybe over the next week, 2 weeks, what happens? We bounce around, consolidate. Remember, the big weekly target is 41 and change. So that very well could take us up to the hop level on the daily. It's still a $41.50 to $42 proposition here. And stay with that. That's one I can tip my hat on. Did that come down again? Hold on. 1 second. All right, because we have these 378 calls. I can't sleep on this. The 378 calls retested that ABCD. What about the SPY? Hold on. It really, I'm not going to let this get away from me. The 451s. SPY's trading 450. Yeah. Let's not sleep. Not like this morning. The 5 minute, I think the 5 minute triggered another continuation. There you go. All right, so the 451 call options here, because you got the market, you got the Qs and the SPY trying to do something. There's your lottery play for today if we're going to really push higher. Remember, the Qs are for today. You know, I like to give you guys targets for today. We got to assume this is just going to continue to be strong. These 370, I would say the 379. What are the 379s? And that would be quite a run. But I do think we want to push the hop now. The 5 minutes got a little bit of an HSI. That's a lottery ticket play, folks. Let me see what the 30-second chart looks like. Ah, come on, come on, come on. Sometimes just being not being on top of your game. Come on. Look at, there's some beautiful patterns. All right, 0 DTE, folks. There you go. There's a lottery 0 DTE play. Back-to-back bat patterns at 10 cents. This is the kind of scenario for the 0 DTEs I like to see. I don't care if it's, 10 to 20 or $1 to $2 proportionally. That's how we're playing that game, and this is exactly what you want to look for. Those kind of pattern dynamics with here's QQQ. That's strong into the zone. So stay with it. Let's for those that were in the webinar this morning, that's the read going into this afternoon. And let's see if we can get something back on the 30-second. This is clearly going to basically spend the rest of the afternoon doing quite a move. So 10 cents. And I said this in the session there that to get complacent is always a bad thing. There's always an opportunity, and that just proved it. After getting all salty about not being on the right side this morning, there you go. There's the right side of a trade right there. Amazing. Anyway, the QQQ has a 391 monthly target. What is that 391 monthly target? What do you mean by that? I mean, not bad to look at the monthly chart. And I think it's, you know, after August doing what it did, that's just a pause bar. That's really just a pause bar on the monthly. This is the thing for the monthly QQQ that I don't want to ignore. Where you're overbought on amplified and HSI. That's RSI. I'm going to remove that. But until that comes out of the zone, you have nothing. You have a trending market. So I'm going to watch that carefully. I think what you mean is that it's something like, well, the 886 on the QQQ is 392. But as long as HSI is up here on the monthly chart, and all you really need is a close, like a positive close above last month, would be significant to say the least. More of the reason why what's happened since July is got reaction written all over it. Again, the bigger moves, the bigger things to pay attention to is even like a full retest of that zone. I'm going to have to step out of my house, take a ride or something. Or just, maybe buy 100 of these 379s. I mean, I lost it. I missed it. But at least we've got movement, so that's a fine thing. That's the kind of thing you want to see here. Let's go. Just be aware as well that it doesn't have to go exactly the way the model every time. It's more like this. Look, we've been looking for a target one move to 336. All right. But what happens in that window? Here we are, 30 bars. Tell me what's going on, especially from completion point. There's 30 bars. Reaction, retest, and then you still have another HSI signal that has to retest and then still put in 2 bars. It has to retest that signal. It's doing that right now. And still put in 2 bearish candles before I would consider another yellow dot or potential shot at doing a target one. I think what it's more likely to do is just come back and retest the XA level. And this is all based off the crab pattern. I mean, that's a beautiful structure, beautiful reaction. Trying to put in another confirmation needs a dot. I mean, every push off of the resistance just comes right back. So I think it runs out of time every time it does this. Every time it does a reaction and then comes right back in 30 days, you start to lose at least the immediate effect of the pattern and be more suggesting of saying, all right, you're in a process where this wants to retest that resistance before it's going to do anything significant, and you can project yourself into the end of the month to do that. Yeah. Well, I'd love to take a step outside, but it's about to rain. QQQ is now 378. High of the day. What about the SPY? Look, there's the 378s. They're just rocketing. Oh, no, sorry. Those are the 379s. What about a 380? I think that's kind of crazy to think go to 380. Especially because why am I looking for that higher move? It's because, again, come back to this original pattern of having a hop level at 378.82. That's where I think it's going for today. Yeah, forget that. Come back to here. Yeah, if you're gonna go into the rain, you need a raincoat. Yes, you do. Sheet. That's pretty funny. Futures S&P right now, look, printing bearish patterns with just minimal reactions. And then S&P futures on the 4-hour. There you go. So this was definitely a strong move. I think stronger than we have seen in a while. First breakout move this month. You're at highs of the month. And where's HSI now on the 4-hour? Of course, finally entering in the overbought. Again, being early can be a real bitch. 378. Let's go one or two other markets. I think we have to look at crude oil because of the obvious target at it was $91, $92. There you go. Almost there. So our target up here on the daily is a off the bat pattern. That's what it is. It's a couple things. But 93.16 is still that number. And that's happening now. I mean, you're well there. You're well on your way there. Last week we were talking about this. It was at 87 or so. 93.16 that's a big number, and you're going to still ride that higher. So stick with it, and I'm not going to go too deep on any of these, but you know the Chevron to 177. Target 2. That does not change. Gold. I'm not. I would want to see gold give me a big retest or give me a big retracement before I would consider this to do anything. So that's for me. That's still down here at 1816. People have asked me that. What I think will happen is you'll go in, you'll get a retracement. We will get something to set up where gold will come in. And then, I think it's target 1 where you have this shark pattern that becomes a 5-0, but it's lower. People do ask me frequently about that, but it doesn't change. That thing's like a slow ship moving in the ocean. Couple others, big ones that I've mentioned before. I mean, here's big things that I would have on the radar. Coca-Cola on the weekly. This is a big pattern. And these are the kind of big patterns you want to see in these type of stocks where if you're looking for the big continuation setup, Coke is a perfect example of doing the retest at 55. You could spend a few months down here, but for sure, this is a monster continuation because it's a type 2. It's a lot like J&J. And I do like to feature these type of stocks because I think they get overlooked when you've got prime opportunities that develop in these that are as good or sometimes even better because they're clearer than the other high flyers. This one's a Gartley at 154. And yeah, you even have a deep crab where the likelihood is you're starting the return move back to 175. What's going on? Great to see everybody. Thanks for showing up today, Evan. Yeah, Red Nose, what's up? Justin, Miss Stephanie, what's going on? Badoink. And then a couple others that are, I think they're worth it. Getting really close, being super oversold. Here's Silicon Labs, and probably one you're not looking at, but maybe should be. Obviously, semiconductor beat up semiconductor play. They probably don't have anything AI. That's probably why they're getting crushed. Intel got crushed too, but this is a beautiful two of two. There's T1 and then the T2. Where's your confirmation? That's what you're looking for. No confirmation. Well, then maybe more towards the hop level. And there's HSI right now. So, interesting play that's setting up. That's a new one. And then what was the other one? Humana. Humana is, yeah. Here's another one. Here's a slow mover. But this has got a couple of big patterns. We saw a similar play here in United Healthcare. And I'm not going to go too many stocks today, but look, you come down, you're two of two on back-to-back patterns. 434. That's another one, slow moving, not really too sexy, but just as nice. Maybe even better risk reward. Everybody, please welcome the one, the only Mitch Ray is in the house. What's going on, Mitch? Thanks for showing up today. Great to see you. Yeah, we just talked about crude oil. Thanks for showing up, man. I had a little frustrating session this morning. Probably the overspill of my other things in my life. I'm better. I'm definitely better, but I'm wanting to be able to do a lot more that I've been doing lately. Mitch brought up crude oil. We were just looking at that. Yes, absolutely. And again, Mitch, we have a big pattern down there, and it's at 93.16, and I can isolate it. Yeah, big shout out, everybody. Please give Mitch a big shout out. He deserves it. Go check out Mitch Ray TA over on YouTube, his nightly show. And let's just isolate the big pattern on crude oil since Mitch brought it up. I think it's look, it's worth the look because of what has happened or not happened. Maybe a better way to think about it. Let's remove the bearish pattern and let's look at the Gartley, the bat pattern. Yeah, it's either a crab or we can go with the bat. Let's look at the crab. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good way to look at it because this is the last. What you're looking at there is basically a 1618 correction. It goes sideways for a while. Now we're coming up to 90.56. I think that's an important first stop. If we're going to isolate that and just look at the bat pattern, remove the crab or deep crab, it looks like this. And that might be a better chart where 93.16, labels it, that's where you would get your T1 dollar sign. And your T1 dollar sign, folks, look, there's T1, that's automated. And this is also a shout to Mitch for the new. So the highlight and what really makes a type 1 and type 2 is going from pattern completion to target 1. So you would still be in a type 1 move, technically off the bat pattern. And then the retest, maybe we do something like this. We come up, and then later this fall, come back for the retest. But I'll tell you what, you put that kind of a move in, then what you're looking at is more than enough time for this to be a high level continuation. And that has really been my argument all along on the big patterns we've seen in energy. If you hold it like this and you're able to put in a 1-2, well then, come later this year, it looks like you're going to absolutely, you could do some monstrous things. Here's the weekly chart, and I think it's the same bat pattern you have there on the weekly. Says for right now $93, 93.16, and you got all the labeling, the automated type 1 targeting. Look, there it is. And you just spent a while going from 70 to 93. But if you do something like that, and it could stretch out to where next year could be a big year where crude oil could absolutely launch. I think it's early stages, but I do like what's happening there. Final part about crude oil that I think a lot of you that have been around for a while know, that we have crazy monthly dynamics going on crude oil. Really, really special that we had in the light sweet futures contract. Look at the monthly chart and the software. I just find it amazing. So the software picks it up with the type 1 and type 2, even with the fact that it went to negative 40. And that was, artificial manipulated price, no offense, but that's what it was. It's, I don't know if that might be more confounding than the 08 financial crisis. Regardless, you had the 1-2. And you had the 2, and then there's the dot on the 2 to make it actionable. Think of it that way. We'll check out what's going on. If we take this extreme all time, negative 40 low, what happened was that was a perfect 382 all-time move down to $64. And we had confirmation, and you're starting to move off of that. I think that's a huge tell. Absolutely. The other tell is the fact that you had this kind of a thing from the prior all-time high to low was not just precise. It was basically an exact 886 off of a monthly number that then went to a perfect 382. With everything there, you do have the proper legs, 4 of the 5 legs, for that to be an eventual deep crab. Excuse me for a second. I need to look at something. Did these come back down? No. Keep an eye on these 451 SPY calls. If they're going to go, they're going to go. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at my board right now. Everything's green and a lot greener than it was when we started an hour ago. This is loco. Something's going on, guys. Yeah, Evan, launch those rockets, man, because I think this is. I think with crude oil popping, it's going to push the market. It'll push the market too. Anyway, that's a big deal. The other thing about energy, and I'm kind of glad, Mitch, you brought this up, and it is something to look at of what is happening against these major patterns. We have been looking at, oh, wait, it would be helpful if I turn on the patterns. 1 second. Let's show some bearish patterns. Listen, we have this. And I think this is something to consider, that weekly time frame as well. You have gone through a perfect type 1 and type 2 that, look, there's the auto ID for the, this is XLE. It's a crab pattern. And went from T1 to T1 dollar sign perfectly. Now back up into the zone and retesting, but I would still need to see a dot. So you assume that this thing trends higher on a weekly basis until you have 2 more bearish weeks. I mean, you would need 2 bearish weeks just to consider this current uptrend over. So that's the first confirmation. Retesting $90 up here. I think it's in an interesting spot. It really is. And you also take a look here. There's HSI, but amplified. This stuff's expanding. That's why what happens up here, what happens in the next few weeks, if we continue to expand, then it's something larger is taking over. Been waiting for that for a while. I thought personally, and I was long Chevron like 2 years ago and bailed up here. It was a great exit on a position where it was practically a double. But I bailed basically at this T1 at around 175 the first time. And you've gone through a T1, T2, and you're trying to come back into the zone. I think yet another retest is likely because look how much time has gone by. You don't know this, folks, and I think this is something to point out. Look, a lot of times people say, well, how do you know? How do you know how much time to give it? You open up the window, you look for confirmation, and then you give it 30 bars, if it's weekly, if it's monthly, or whatever. And within that 30 bar window, okay, you tighten up stops, you tighten up management, because if it doesn't follow through or do what it's supposed to do, something else is unfolding. And that's what that story is on crude oil. It's if you were short, your trend line is getting violated. If you're long, you're looking for this to come back up and retest some bigger resistance numbers before it could even, it by definition almost needs another confirmation if it was going to send it lower, if this was going to be in a larger corrective trend. Not yet. Red Nose, what's up? Do me a favor, send that to me in Discord so I can watch. I can update you. I hear what you're saying on some of the settings. Oxy, this is from Mitch. Oxy's another one. Good old Warren Buffett in there floating the stock. Maybe this made sense. High level HSI, yellow dot at around 55 bucks, now 67. Isn't there something super long term on this? Yeah, look, this is the monthly Oxy. Monthly oxy chart is a perfect bat pattern. Look at that, Mitch. Look at that. And yeah, T1. Hey, I don't know why that T1 dollar sign didn't pop up. But even Oxy, you've got levels back here at 73. And that's probably what it's going to do. It won't come out of that type 1 until it breaks a trend line. And maybe that's not what, maybe it's going to stay in that longer term. Crude oil is definitely cyclical. You have this massive fight depending on where you are, because other integrated oils are at a different level. But are we going to break out of that once and for all? I'll show you one or two other ones that are, I think, worth it, worth looking at in terms of their potential. Here's Apache on a monthly basis. This is one really more of like a recovery vehicle, but beautiful, massive butterfly pattern that still could be going up to target 1 at 66. And that's a little bit different from something like Schlumberger. Schlumberger weekly. There you go. But a little bit different. Another one that's in that space, Transocean. So I'm watching various ones like this. Some of them are printing patterns off the low. Still say they can go higher. They would need yellow dots before I would say that anything's going on here. For the futures, go to 93 bucks. It's yeah. Well, here's the other one. Anadark, or not. No, that wasn't it. It was oh, wrong one. No, not Apache. What's the one I was thinking about? Conoco. Yeah, and Conoco, Valero, all retesting massive weekly structures, but at the top end of them. Some of these, printed dots. That's why the whole thing, is this a breakout or is this a retest long term of resistance? We'll know really soon. I think if you get anything bigger in crude oil above 93, then something larger is going on. There's ExxonMobil. I mean, that's amazing. ExxonMobil's been stuck in that range for 15 years. 15 years. Is that a breakout of, there you go. Looks like that long term. And remember, monthly chart. I'm kind of concerned because we have some bearish dots up here. I'm watching this retest closely, really closely. I mean, that's certainly threatening some kind of breakout of the last year above these levels, like confidently. And I don't think anything changes. If anything, if that is a breakout, much like we saw back here in the late 90s, I will know really soon. That's why crude oil is interesting. It's threatening something it hasn't done in years, if not decades, which is a cycle breakout. Yeah. Daniel, CPE. Yeah, there you go. Monthly. On that last cycle, a lot of them had those crazy patterns that they printed some major cycle low patterns. and could be leading to something. Callan Petroleum. Yeah, bat pattern. Well, back to back. That's interesting. I do think though stuff like Pioneer Drilling was another one that we've been talking about for a while. Just came off of this, like just early in the summer, was off this crab pattern. Geez, it was 176 in March. And then just look, UNG not doing anything. I mean, UNG isn't doing anything at all, but has major patterns. Talk about not being dismissive. Another one where super early. We were looking at UNG last year when it wasn't, it was still under the trend line. Big mistake. Big mistake. Over here to the right, back in the spring, it's really the first time that it gave us confirmation to the right of that downtrend. And then last week, literally last week, we got the first yellow dot confirmation off of that massive bear market decline since the spring. So again, UNG is an interesting vehicle from a harmonic pattern perspective. Also has this, is it monthly? I know it's weekly, but I think there's something monthly. No, I think this is weekly. But you're back at historic support for all of this. If it's UNG, if it's Nat Gas, the contract, the futures, I'm sorry, but $2 is going to be the floor forever. It might go under $2 slightly, but this area between $2 and $3, in the same way that we experienced zero interest rates for way too long, I got to think Nat Gas under $3 is something that's an artificial, not to be sustained for much longer proposition. And you could bounce between 2 and 3 for a long time, but you are going to resolve this. And you're not, and once you bust out, you're not going to look back. So UNG, and that was literally just last week with the daily, first signs of life. Speaking about signs of life, take a look here what we got right now. I think I'm gonna give me a little bit more time here, and I'm gonna wrap up. But here's this big ABCD on S&P futures for today. And HSI just parked itself right above the hop level. Talk to me. Talk to me about those puts. 448 for tomorrow. What you got? Couple of dots here, a couple of arrows, but hey, I need to see a breakout. I need to see something convincing. Also, talk about downtrends. Listen, get to the right of this downtrend, and then maybe I'll have my short. Remember the cues. This is where we started today. Big 1 hour time frame. Looks like this. There it is. It even looks small there. That's it. That's for going into tomorrow. And a super critical make or break. This one's for Mitch. So Mitch, check this out. Big bat pattern on the hourly, and now it's labeled. So there's the T1. T1 goes to target 1, and there's your dollar sign. So that's the profit segment And that's how we know when it does the retest, because it hit that, automatically labeled, and that would be the T2 on the hourly. And let's see what this does going into the close today. I'm definitely curious. Are we going to get this 5-minute rollover? I would even think maybe come back 376. I'm not ready to give up on those puts just yet. I'm looking for something, but I said this in the session. It's probably going to have to be an expiration for tomorrow. Don't know. Do I even look at it? Do I even go here? I've got a few minutes, so just talk about not being dismissive. Anyone notice Bitcoin? Bitcoin just wants to pop a little bit. I'm not really getting too enthused about that. It is a Gartley, or excuse me, bat pattern. The bat pattern on, I think, the Binance feed. There you go. So there's the 2 of 2. I didn't get confirmation after the fact, but maybe this is something, why you're getting a little bit of a bounce. I would prefer check it out. So there's T1, T2 on Bitcoin daily, but the dot came before T2 right here. The dot came really for the type 1 reaction. I don't have confirmation here. That's not the kind of situation where I would think this goes to a target 2, because take a look. HSI did not register on that retest. So if we get a nominal reaction in Bitcoin, maybe back to 27.9 or 28, but that would be it. I'm not until I get something I think clearer, or even I mentioned in the weekly stuff of what we've got, 5-0 pattern, other things. I still say this gets to 23 as it does everything, the grind lower. I think just a nominal bounce, 23.8. Go to XRP, which is my number 2. Still under 50 cents. I actually got sitting right there at a big bat pattern on the daily. Weekly is, I want the type 2. That's it. There's nothing there on the weekly chart, any bar, individual bar, anything that says go on it right now. Number 3, Ethereum. Nothing there. I want a pattern. There's the pattern I was flashing, saying, hey, maybe we get that. Maybe we get some kind of bat pattern back on the retest. I just don't think so. Quick question. If a pattern goes to target 2 on a type 1 and then retests, does it still set up for target 2? Yes. Good question. Meaning if you get a strong initial move and it comes back, do you still expect another move back to target 2? And definitely. Number 3, that's number 3. Number 4, why not Cardano? And that's a daily type 2. Hold on. Where is that? That's why. That's why it's not showing. There it is, deep crab. So looking for the type 2 here. Interestingly enough, look where the 2 went. There's type 1, there's the type 2. Almost got the target 2. I would favor hop level still down here. I'm not a fan of this. Great pattern. I mean, great pattern here. But with all of this stuff, you're not going to do anything until you get to the right of that downtrend. I don't even know why I'm on this stuff. I want to show great patterns. I mean, there's a lot going on, but in terms of development, but anything really happening off of that, no. Let's just take a look at this Fetch AI. So it's another one, big patterns, big deep crab. I mean, those are major structures. Okay, coming back down, and your Fetch AI, I think some of them actually did hit target 1. Really close. That's lower. It's just give me a yellow dot under XA level, which is under 18 cents. Is BCH still a short opportunity? Yeah. I think so. It's remember it did that pop 2 days ago, and I said, okay, it's the first time to start looking at that. Yeah, right. It did that first pop right there. But you have to go down to like an hourly or 4-hour to get anything to go in on that one. Yeah, look, there's some bullish patterns. Last bearish was just a shark, but you'll get another pattern. Believe me, it's yeah, there's a hop level 4-hour, but that's also a type 1. Look, T1 dollar sign, if that doesn't help you to show you where the end of the reaction is, there's pattern completion, confirmation, goes to the hop, but look, the T1 dollar sign, that's the max you're looking for on any setup. No bearish pattern yet, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the crypto until Bitcoin does something. I don't think anything is really going to happen until Bitcoin's got everybody in a frenzy. Yeah, I look, Mitch is right about the S coins they're untradeable, and it's absolutely diluting the space. So all of those meme coins, the Pepes, the Doges, all of that stuff is bringing down the rest of the sector. Could that, I mean, think about that in a counterintuitive way, maybe, or just contrarian way, that maybe that could present an opportunity later on. Maybe that could give you something where it sets something up where some of these others that are legit actually hit major levels and trigger beautiful patterns. But they're not there yet. And every time I look at things that people recommend to me, like here's AGIX, especially with all those AI stuff, you usually see stuff like this. Yeah, you see stuff like this. AGIX, beautiful Gartley pattern, all right, with some confirmation, and it just drags. And another situation where you might think this is the greatest thing in the world, but you get 30 bars post a pattern, and it does that kind of a thing. Don't be surprised to see that completely roll over, and we've seen that on so many of these. I think you have to wait, again, for the space to just light up. light up with Bitcoin, light up with Ethereum, or even XRP. But for me, XRP is 30 cents. The big two of two situation for XRP, which could be the defining event for the cycle, even more so than the more so than the Bitcoin halving, is that if XRP could retest the weekly pattern right here, 31 cents, and trigger some kind of confirmation, that would be the end of the cycle. For me, I would then say, that's it. That's two of two. Give me confirmation. And the larger possibility of going to a target two, it fits right into textbook. That at 30 cents, you go to a 4x minimum to target two. Yeah, Mitch says waiting for a true trend reversal on Bitcoin and daily, weekly, whatever that may be. Fundamentally, narrative, although that's kind of like a four-letter word for crypto, I think XRP has a lot to offer, more than any meme coin and all these other ones. So it's just been, I bring up Stellar Lumens because that's the same, that's in the same basket as XRP. And even that was something we looked at 8 cents, and it doubled and came all the way right back down. Yeah, it was this one. There it is. Yeah, did at 8 cents. Huge move all the way back down. Went to 19, came back to 11. And maybe this one too is on its way to doing bigger things. But it's acting like a meme coin. I mean, really, if that broke the uptrend off of that, it's a zero. Maybe next year liquidity comes back. I don't know. I'm not, I've left some things in, but most of it I pulled it out. What's the last time I bought anything was a while ago. It's been months. And it's probably I sold something. I told you I'd let you guys know when I start going back in, and it will be probably predominantly BTC and XRP. All right, look, let me wrap it up. I'm going all morning. Here's what I'm looking for. Going to the close here. It's 140. Remember the big things going on right now for the Qs right now. Literally, for what we do, it's a big day. It's a big day because we're hitting levels. We still might be a day or two away from generating any kind of substantial confirmation dot. But this is a big deal for QQQ that you're checking back today. I do think, though, you come back structurally and hit XA one more time, kind of like what we did back in here, is something I'll watch out for this week into next week. I do think we're going to get a dot in maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday, but that's still 2-3 sessions away. So I guess that's still up. I guess they still want to run this up, even in the face of, and I think for today, look, the Q, and I've said this all along, and here you go, you're going to hit it. So I'm going to get off right now. I'm going to say you're going to run to 378.82 by the close. It's a point higher from current levels. We haven't put in one all morning. Every hourly candle since the retest has been up. I expect that to continue, and that's, look at it this way. There's the T2. You need the signal after the fact. Even if I was bearish, looking for some kind of swing turnaround, you are 3 or 4 hours away from doing that. Do I use leverage or just higher positions? Higher positions. Even through the crypto market, I didn't trade any leverage or any account like that. So we'll come on back. Mitch, thanks for showing up today. Hope all is well with you. Let's definitely connect again. Do a session here real soon. Do another double shot. I'm going to go roll over to Discord and make it up to my members for a less than ideal morning. Just didn't get any opportunities. And let's see if tomorrow is a put or a call option. I'm looking for some turnaround tomorrow with those major developments. I just think we're early. That's what I'm looking for today. And even look, ES right here, major 5-minute ABCD structure that it's got confirmation, it's stalling out. So I've got a lot of reasons to be looking for this to be about it. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. I'll catch you back on Tuesday. Didn't really give away too much, but we'll do that next week. Hopefully I drop nuggets for you. Until Tuesday, come on back. Have a great one. As always, go get them. Discord, see you in 5 minutes.